Welcome to another edition of the SprintCarUnlimited.com Deep Dive presented by EnTrust IT Solutions. On this week's show, we catch up with Knoxville Raceway General Manager Jason Reed, who will discuss the challenges of weekly racing, the dynamic of having two national series, how they're improving the Knoxville Nationals, and much more. Before we get to Jason, don't forget to check out EnTrust IT Solutions. EnTrust is a full-service technology company serving small and mid-sized businesses in the York, Pennsylvania, and surrounding areas. The staff at EnTrust takes a personalized approach to technology. See why customers are choosing EnTrust IT Solutions as their technology partner by scheduling a free consultation at www.entrust-msp.com or calling 717-292-8868. We're here with Knoxville Raceway General Manager Jason Reed. Jason, how you doing? And thank you for joining the deep dive.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having us on. I enjoy watching your show, so I'm glad to be part of it.
Good deal. And, every time I go on Twitter or X, I still call it Twitter, it's snowing out there. How's the weather today?
Yeah, we have had a lot of snow, but this week actually since Monday, about every day it's been close to 50 or in the 50s, so the snow's melting away quick. Supposed to be 55 or 57 degrees here today, so yeah, it's not bad for late January in Iowa.
I haven't seen the sun in what feels like about 2.5 weeks, so I'm starting to get a little, gloomy over here. So again, this is probably the longest where I haven't seen the sun. So, but you and I kind of corresponded back and forth a little bit. I did a 90 at 9 on your weekly program, and you mentioned to me about the weekly racing, and it's kind of why I wanted to have you on. When you see another big show go up, when I say big, I mean 50,000 or more, does your heart kind of jump out of your chest? Because look, eventually, the weekly shows cannot keep up with that, especially with the stars traveling more.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. It's great for, everybody thinks it's great for the sport that we're having all the bigger shows, which it is good. It draws a lot of attention, but it also makes it really tough, in my opinion, on the weekly show. A lot of people want to go race those big races, which I understand that part of it, but also, if we're trying to get people to come here on a Saturday night, but our biggest, drivers they're not going to be here. That's kind of a hard sell too. So it's just kind of a balancing act. We try to keep our incentives for our drivers good enough to stay here, but we also want to, help support sprint car racing. So it's just a balancing act we're constantly working through, and just trying to make sure we have enough cars here at Knoxville every week.
Well, we'll talk about your purse increase in a moment, because I know when I saw it, I'm not usually at a loss for words, but when I see a regular show at Knoxville's $37,000 purse for the A main, it kind of makes me stop a little. But we'll get to that. The weekly program, it's tough now. What's the most difficult thing that you go through when it comes to still holding weekly racing?
I guess my biggest thing would be is just there is so many big events for other people to go to, not only just in racing, but there's all the sports now are year round. Your kids are playing travel softball, travel volleyball. There's stuff going on, all the time, all year long, and so there's just a lot of other things for people to do. Casinos, everything, there's all kinds of stuff to do. And it's just a constant battle trying to keep, everybody in tune with it. We still have a great weekly program that we offer every week for a $15 ticket. There's a lot of stuff, like you say, on X and Facebook and all that about all the big events, and everybody's reading about the big events they want to go, but just trying to make sure, that we're still drawing the fans to the weekly show, because we still got a great product, and it's very reasonably priced.
One of the things I've often thought was that race fans have changed, in that I think through the 80s and 90s, they would just go because that's what they did. Now you you have to have stars. I know in Central Pennsylvania, you need to have Brent Marks, you need to have Anthony Macker, you need to have Danny Dietrich, Lance DeWeese. Now you've been around racing a long time. You only took over the GM duties in 2022, or I should say in October of 2022, but you've been around it a long time. Do you feel the race fan has changed as well, that you almost have to, I don't want to say beg them to come to the track, but let's face it, if the stars aren't there, it makes it difficult. Whereas back in these 80s and 90s, I didn't think that was the case.
No, I would agree with that too. Yeah, they it seems like the race fan now, they want the stars there, or they want to be associated or feel like they know somebody, you know. So I think we need to also try to do a better job of that, of getting our weekly fans or our casual fans that want to come out every so often to actually, you know, have a connection with the driver, so they feel like they're going there to support you know, and they know that person. And so I think we need to try to do a better job of, you know, meshing that together so that, you know, we're making our local guys some more stars, and people want to come and see them.
So you raise your purse. Was that something, because you already had the highest purse for a weekly show in the country for 410 sprint cars, and I would say the same for 360s. What made you guys raise it, and how were you able to raise it in a climate that, I mean, a 37,000 is a lot.
Yeah, we kicked that around, and for John McCoy, he's always, you know, thankfully for him, he's always looking out for the racers and the race team, trying to do anything we can, you know, to help them. So I mean, we were all the way across the board of leaving it how it was. We you know, look, what could we pay, and this is kind of where we settled at. But yeah, it's just we got great partners that are helping us out. Luckily, I work for a 24-member fair board, but they're very supportive of what John and I want to do. You know, so when they're willing to reinvest the money, you know, to both in infrastructure of the fairgrounds and the racetrack, but also to make sure that we have the best purse. You know, give reasons for everybody want to come race Knoxville. So they're very supportive of that. So yeah, it's going to be tough still to you know, make it work. We're going to have some cooperation by weather, and you know, hopefully bring some more partners on and be able to attract some other fans to come. So yeah, that's just all pieces that we're working on. But yeah, we put it out there, so now we got to make it work.
You know, I did a national cost story last week, and I also have one for local tracks in Pennsylvania. You know, what it costs to put on a regular show, regular weekly show, and the cost without purse, just your expenses, which I'm sure you guys, you know, obviously deal with as well, is roughly $12,000 to $15,000. That's your insurance and everything else, your maintenance, your, you know, all the incidentals people don't think about. And if for a big show, say Tuscarora 50, something like that, it balloons to about $17,000, $18,000. Now, you don't have to tell me the exact figure, because I'm not going to put you on the spot that much, but it's got to be more for Knoxville, because you guys, bigger facility. I know you don't open the backstretch still for weekly shows.
No.
But still, the personnel, from what I hear from my sources, is pretty much, you still have the same staff that people maybe see at the Nationals. These expenses, have they ballooned a lot in the last couple of years? And God, that's got to put your nut at about 70,000, 75,000 for a weekly show.
Yeah, your numbers are right in the ballpark. Yeah, that's exactly where we're at. Yeah, just I mean, it takes to have a big facility like that. You know, you got to have all the people to open up the suites. Like you said, we don't open the backstretch, but it still takes, you know, the same amount of security for opening up the suites and the grandstand, the front grandstands. Yeah, now of course we have a little more at the Nationals, but you know, we still need that people. We still need the people to help in Victory Lane and all that. We got 20 to 25 fire and rescue workers there every week. We got, you know, 20, 25 push trucks, 30 track officials. Yeah, it just all adds up. And a lot of people, yeah, they don't think about all those numbers till you start, you know, telling them that. And of course, I mean, I can't blame them. I got to say, all those employees we have too, you know, they're all I wish I could pay them more. We're still not paying them, what they probably should be worth. But we've got some great employees that's been with us for a long time. And so, I mean, that makes it, that part of it makes it good. But yeah, it's a continued battle of what you got to try to do to make it all work.
In Pennsylvania, we have, I don't know, anywhere from Baps Motor Speedway who has, they have 60 employees to maybe the Grove 80, 85. Where do you guys sit as far as on a weekly show, the number of people you need to hold it efficiently?
Are you talking like concessions peoples too?
It's whatever you got, buddy.
I would say through security, fire and rescue, the push trucks officials, we're looking at 150 to 175 people every week. Saying, security, yeah, we're in that range.
Do you have stock and roll aids or something? I mean, when you see rain, and I think this is another thing too, with that people don't understand why tracks maybe pull the plug a little early. Well, look at you guys, 150 people. I mean, let's face it, if it rains or if it's chance of rain, you got a problem. Yep. And we'll get into streaming in a minute. But God, it's for you as a GM, it's got to be some sleepless nights trying to make ends meet for a weekly show.
Yeah, no, the 2023 was basically my first year as a GM, and we had lots of weather issues. John McCoy, he's a great asset to Knoxville, but I think he's almost like a part-time meteorologist. He can predict the weather. He starts watching the weather. I mean, we get done racing on Saturday, he's already telling what the weather's going to be for next Saturday. So yeah, there goes a lot of time and effort into looking at that and trying to make a decision. And there was last year. I mean, John and I had a couple meetings on Thursday, Friday that week. Like there's probably a 50 to 60% chance we could race, but there's also a 90% chance we're gonna lose. We're not gonna come out on it. So, but it was, we did race a time or two that, we just did it just to keep our teams racing because we'd been rained out so much, but we knew going into it there it was gonna be bad. But so those decisions, you can do maybe one or two of those a year, but that's got to, now that you've added some more money to it, that's got to be even looked at harder to where, John's even talked about, do we have a drop dead temperature that if it's below X amount of degrees, we're not racing? Just, it's just all stuff you got to look into now. And as the cost keeps going up, it just gets more and more critical on making those decisions.
You kind of led into that. My next question, it's a balancing act. And I think fans don't necessarily see what you guys go through as far as the bottom line. It's almost like a story that starts in April for you guys as far as the actual racing and ends in September at that late model show. It's a continued story, and the prior weeks factor into what you do in the future. Right.
Yeah. And of course, which I like getting everybody's opinion, but everybody gives their opinion. If they're a suite holder, they, I get it's a controlled condition, right? They think we should race no matter what, and they pay the extra money. So I get that part, and then, but like the perfect example was the USAC race we had last year on Friday night. We got all the cars to the infield. It rained then, so then I've got all these fans texting me and calling me, you got to get this in, you got to race. Well, I'm standing down in the infield and I got the drivers talking to me and texting me and John saying, hey, you got to cancel this thing. You're going to tear up all our stuff, And so, I mean, just to finally, you just got to sit down and make a decision and go with it and learn from it and go on.
How do you deal with the fallout from that? Because social media is brutal. I use it. I have to use it. You have to use it. Your people have to use it. How do you turn that off, the criticism, and especially in a situation like that? I mean, you got to have a thick skin.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You definitely have to have that. I mean, I guess my wife and I talked about when I started the job, she sometimes gets a little, taken back by some of the stuff. And I told her, just let it go. It's everybody's gonna have an opinion, and that's fine. But I'm not opposed to talking to somebody that has a legitimate reasoning or whatever. I'll talk to, and I'll tell them my reasoning why. And most of the time, after you explain to them why you made the decision, or the business side of it, then most people understand. But yeah, if you sit there and read and worry about everything you see on social media, you'll worry yourself to death.
Yeah, I even catch it for having my website's $35 a year. You would think I was asking for 350, but
Right. Yeah. No, I understand.
so streaming. Where do you come out on streaming? I actually run pay-per-view with SprintCarLimited.tv. It's per event. Obviously Dirt Vision, Flow, they do a good job. They have the streaming where it's one price and you get everything as a fan. Where do you come out on streaming? I know you're partners with Dirt Vision.
Yep.
But I contend that the big shows, it doesn't hurt. It only adds to it. And I think streaming is great for the national series. Where I think it does become a problem for tracks is when it is 50%, 60% chance of rain, and they can stay home and watch it, not take the chance. Plus, they get to watch all their national stuff as well.
Right.
Where do you come out on streaming as far as, I'm sure you support it because you have Dirt Vision, but where do you come out on the whole streaming thing?
Well, I think you nailed it exactly 100%. Before I got this job, I was on the fair board here for 15 years. So I was, seeing it from that side of it. At first, I was like against it, it's just going to hurt, selling tickets. But I think you nailed it 100%. The big events, I think it doesn't hurt the big events, and I think it actually helps them, because it sees people that aren't at the Knoxville Nationals, they see what's going on at the Knoxville Nationals or whatever big event it is, and they're like, well, now I've been wanting to go to that, now I got to go because I've seen that. But also, like you said, on weather, whether it be rain or cold, I think it hurts the weekly show, and I think it hurts the weekly show in general when people, like I said, getting back to the sports and stuff, if they go to sports all day or whatever, and they're in a gym with their kids somewhere and they're like, I'm just going to sit at home and watch it tonight, because I have it on TV, instead of I got to go to the track and see it because that's the only way I can see it. So, I mean, I think it has its place. I mean, I guess there's no turning back now, right? We're in it. We're in the streaming business. So we're gonna have to just figure out a way to adapt and do that. And yeah, we are signed on with Dirt Vision, the partner with Dirt Vision, and they've been good to us. It's worked. So yeah, we just keep chugging along and know that it's gonna probably hurt your weekly show a little bit, but it's going to help your big shows. So try to, build off that and see where we can take it.
Would you be able to raise your purse and do all the things you guys do without the Knoxville Nationals?
No, it's Knoxville Nationals, and I mean our other big events too. The Outlaw weekend, which in June, we're trying to get one in April too. We'll see how that goes. And then the late model events. So the big events, that they kind of keep you going. And then on the weekly shows, I mean, I'm just brutally honest, we're just trying to break even. If we can keep everybody racing, doing what we're doing, and then and at least try to break even, and we're good there.
You guys have the Nationals, I contend biggest dirt track race in the world. A lot of tracks don't have that luxury. So are you scared that the weekly show is going to go away? Not just at Knoxville, but maybe at tracks that bigger tracks like in Central PA, which is a huge area, or California or other areas of the country.
Yeah, no, that does scare me a little bit, because that's one reason that in working with John over the years and doing this, we've tried to keep the weekly race, our weekly series strong, is because we also think that what brings us 100 or 110 cars at the Nationals, why we have 50 to 55 cars at a World of Outlaws show, So our feeling is that you got to keep the weekly going to help, keep the cars for those bigger events. And that's what scares me then. So if weekly racing goes away and we lose these guys that have a normal job during the week, around here at Knoxville, that if it's just all big shows anymore, are they going to keep racing? Like I say, I'm not going to travel and I don't race against all those bigger corporate teams. He said. So I said, I think it's important that we got to try to figure out a way to keep the weekly going for everybody's events, not only the Knoxville Nationals.
I'm going to shift gears a little bit. The national scene. We have 2 national series now. Now, obviously, the World of Outlaws have been around since 1978. High Limit is going national in 2024. When this all went down, when they purchased the All Stars, what were your thoughts on the whole national sprint car scene?
Well, I mean, I kind of understand what they're trying to do, but on my end, I was thinking, man, I was thinking we're going in the right direction right now. Sprint car racing's going well. It seems to be increasing everywhere. Why do we want to rock the boat right now? Let's just continue on what we're doing. But I mean, it's a business deal. I get it. We just have to work through it. I just don't want to get it divided. I've seen some of those racing organizations get divided and then ended up ruining everything we got going. So I mean, if we can work together and kind of keep it going in the right direction, I'm fine with that.
You guys chose. I know High Limit wanted a race there. Everybody would want to race at Knoxville. You guys, Outlaws. You guys have had outlaw races for years. What was it an easy choice, and what made you just say, "Look, we're an outlaw track"?
Yeah, no, I met with Brad several times. I had several phone calls with him. We talked about it, but yeah, in the end, I guess we came this far. We've built it. The Nationals, we've been building it up the last several years. We're selling out sooner, and I mean, we came here with the Outlaws, so I guess we're with them. So in the end, with us being partnered through Dirt Vision and them, we just said, okay, we're gonna stick to what we're doing. We're gonna continue on and just see how it all plays out, but we're just gonna stick with the Outlaws. And and Brad, he understood. But of course, like I said, they wanted a race here, but I just to that adding that show, our All-Star show was right ahead of the 360 Nationals, the 410. Yep. And so that All-Stars race was a $20 ticket. Well, that's not going to be High Limits isn't going to be a $20 ticket. And then adding that on right in front of our biggest 2 weeks of the year, I just don't know if there's enough ticket money to go around that works out for everybody. So that was another thing that weighed into it. So we just weighed it all out, and we just finally made a decision. Hey, let's just continue to do what we're doing and go from there.
Do you ever see a day where you may host a High Limit event? I mean, you never want to rule out anything, but is that feasible at this point? I mean, to me, the 2 national series are going to be around. I don't think they're going anywhere. I don't think one's going to beat the other. But is there a day where you could maybe have both of them? Because there are some tracks on the schedule that have both series.
Yeah, no, like you said, I don't rule out anything that we we could do. But yeah, we'd be open to look, after we get through this year, then we'll reassess and decide what we need to do or what we did wrong, or if we did something wrong. But so yeah, no, we're open to looking at it again and just seeing how it all shakes out.
Rules. We saw a change with the 1-inch wicker bill, or at least tentative change. They're going to start the year with that. Do you guys, how much does Knoxville get involved in rules? I know we have this Sprint Car Council. I have my own thoughts on that. But where does Knoxville come out on affecting change in sprint car racing? It's you guys, Eldora and Williams Grove, as far as the biggest tracks. I would think the most influential. How do you get in a room with these guys and start talking about rule changes at the national level that trickles down to throughout the world of sprint car racing?
Yes, we here at Knoxville do. Now, mainly it's John McCoy that he's very technical and into all the safety aspects. I mean, he can talk through all that stuff. So he's been on the phone a lot, had several meetings, giving his opinion on how it should go. We reach out to some teams, talk to them, and see. So yeah, John, he takes care of most of that right now. But yeah, we are still very involved in making those decisions.
Do you know if you guys went to the 1 inch again on
We
the
have we have not decided completely yet. John's going to Florida next week, and so he's
smart?
going to see how it goes there, and then we have not made that decision yet. No, for here at Knoxville.
That's smart, I think. See how it goes. You guys don't
Yep.
start till April, and that's one of the benefits of doing that.
Yep. Yeah, we got a little time yet. So
The Knoxville Nationals. That's a monster. I mean, it is a monster, and in a good way.
yep.
And when you're coming in as a GM, I mean, obviously you've been on the nice thing is you've been on the board for 15 years. How do you make that bigger? I mean, you've been sold out. Is it tough trying to outdo the previous year? And how do you keep making that thing bigger? Is it even possible at this point?
Yeah, no, it's a year-long project, and we actually have formed a committee with myself and a couple of my employees. Then we actually have a racer on it, and then some other people just giving input of that's around to see other events, and giving input of what we can do. Like you said, we've been selling it out. Anybody that's been here knows we're landlocked. We just we don't have any more space that we can use. We
Yeah.
really use every inch of the property we possibly can. But we're always just trying to come up with something, like last year we did that open to the public press conference over all that was a huge hit. People were saying that was great, and so we're just always trying to now we're just working on trying to make it a better experience, wanting people give people a reason to come here for the whole week. Not only is the racing great at night, but you get to do X, Y, and Z all during the day, so we're just continually working on that. And then also, to just make if someone wants to just sit at the campground all day, we just try to make their experience better. Upgrading the camping facilities and trying to find more places for people to stay and camp. Because as you know, we don't have enough room for everybody here in Knoxville, so we put them every possible place we can. Working with the city and everywhere else to get other places to put people. So yeah, it's just a all year long, working on the event, and even during the event this year, we're making notes of, okay, don't do this next year. We need to change this. So it's just a continuous process. Yeah, I probably spend 90% of my time, working on that, with doing deals with partners and getting people what they need when they're coming to Knoxville. So yeah, it's great. But yeah, it is definitely a monster that takes a lot of time and effort to make all happen.
Well, I'll be back for the pole award again, so you don't even have to worry about.
Perfect. Thank
There's
you.
there you got something done today.
That's right. That's right.
So,
Yeah.
no, it's always a pleasure to be associated with that race. Looking at it, okay, you take all the notes while you're there, mental notes, whether you're writing stuff down. When do you have your first meeting about the Knoxville Nationals the following year?
This year we had it in September because we
Wow.
wanted to make it. We wanted to make it fresh. We wanted to make sure that we captured anything that we thought went really well, or we needed to change for next year. We want to make sure you don't lose that. So I made that list of notes, and then now we're just getting back into full swing on trying to figure out what other events and what we need to do for this year. So we're just starting in that really hard right now.
Now I'm going to put you on the spot. What do
Uh-oh.
you, yeah, well, that's what I do. What do you like best about the Nationals? And what do you believe needs to improve?
Well, I like best. I just like it how it's. I mean, we've tried to let over the years, Knoxville's tried to let everybody be involved in it. So it's kind of just like a big family reunion to me, I guess. Everybody is here, for the races, but there's always a group of people that always get together after the races. Back here when we're having the bands play and stuff. It's just people being together all the time. Everybody seems to be having a good time. So no, I just like I wish I didn't have to sleep that week. That sleep gets in the way. I just don't have enough time for that. So, uh, but what would I think we need to improve on? Um, I don't know. I'm just still always worried about which everybody tells me we're doing great. But the whole fan experience, just making sure
Yep.
that everybody, that's just what, I mean, in the end, that's what we got to have, right? We got to have everybody still wanting to come to Knoxville to make it a success. So that's what I just want to make sure that everybody comes here, has a good time, and leave, thinking, man, I got to come back here next year. So just continue to work on that. But one of the things I do hate is that we just don't have any more ground. I wish we had some more room, the railroad tracks on one side and housing on the other side. We're kind of pinned in here, and that's what we got to work with. But you just have to, do the best you can and work around that.
The one thing I'll say about that, I know while that is a little bit of a hindrance, I think it also adds to the Knoxville Nationals that you have housing there. It's in the middle of the town. Everybody gets behind it. And even the people who maybe don't go to the race, they will rent their house or apartment or whatever out to somebody who's coming to stay in. So while I do think that, yeah, as a detriment, you always want to be able to expand. I think it adds to, I don't want to get too flowery, but the ambiance of it.
Yeah, no,
So,
I would like to, I don't know how you'd ever come up with this number, but I'd like to know how many people stay in other people's houses and how many years they've been staying at, and how many campers we have
yeah,
parked in people's front yards, backyard, side yard, all over through town. I mean, I should get someone take me up an airplane and take an aerial view of the town, and I bet there'll be some good pictures there, because there's literally, I find out all the time, I've been staying with such and such for 30 years, and this one's been staying there for 25 years, So yeah, it's like you said, it's great because there is a lot of people that are more than welcoming, even if they don't go to the races here in Knoxville, a lot of them have people staying with them that do go to the races, and they've built long relationships. And so that's awesome to see too.
everybody looks in the stands each night and wow, Knoxville's killing it at the bank. You're backing up the Brinks truck. And while I do think you guys do very, very, very well in that race, it also, I don't think people realize it costs probably a couple $100,000 to put that race on outside of the purse, because you have, let's say, $18,000 a day for expenses. I'm going to say 20. So there's 4 days. That's 80. And then you have the Capitani Classic, by the way, that's kind of part of it. That's another 20. So you're at $100,000. And that's before you have employees. It's got to be an unbelievable financial undertaking. And I'm quite, the good part is the rain part, you have reserve seats. So, but still, it's got to be an unbelievable financial undertaking for you guys.
Yeah, it is a lot. Like you said, there. I want to guess probably, even when you're guessing that 20,000 a day, that's probably low on for the amount of manpower that we have here doing that. And just the insurance and extra ground that we lease and this and that for parking and stuff. So yeah, but I mean, we've got some. It's just part of it. It's a big investment. But hopefully the return keeps coming, and we continue to grow the event as we have in the past.
Now you come from, and correct me if I'm wrong, 3M. You worked at 3M.
Yep.
Big company.
Yep.
I often tell people racing's different than the real world. It just is.
Yep.
Do you think it's helped you in this role, coming from a big real world business? And how much has that helped you in this role as GM at Knoxville?
I think it's helped me in several ways. One, on the business side of it, I mean, I was a supervisor out there at 3M, and so I, was in charge of an area, and you had to deliver, the bottom line. You've got to make X amount of percent. So I know that, and I've had to in my job out there, you hate to do it, but there's times where you've got to cut whatever to make to make it the balance sheet work out. So I, coming into this role here, I'm looking at, man, I've looked at several different things that are we really doing this? Is this returning us any return on our investment, or do we need to be doing this? So we've cut out some things, that was just that we didn't really need and work that way. But I also think it's helped me a lot in out there. Sometimes we were shorthanded out there, so I was a supervisor like of 125 to 150 people in a factory, and that's you get 125 or 150 different attitudes and opinions. So I'm able to work through all that with them. That's also help me out here, everybody, you kind of got to listen to their story and understand where they're coming from, and then, go from there. So that's helped me get and be able to interact with people and understand what their needs are and what we need to do. So yeah, I think the 18 years that I spent out there has helped me very well in this job.
In normal cases, when you have a fair board, I mean, Port Royal has one, race committee, whatever you want to call it. If a guy would come out or a guy would come in from a real world type of situation, there'd probably be some pushback on stuff they want to do. How much did it also help you that you were part of this board for 15 years? You're one of them, so to speak.
Yep.
Did that kind of make this transition easier?
Yeah, I think 100% it did, because just like you said, I mean, we've got a very supportive board, but I also, from being on there 15 years, I knew the way of thinking of, how their vision was of how they wanted to go. So I, just knew what decision I needed to make to, that they were going to support and go. But then also too, if I want to do something a little different, I also know who to go to and run it by them and get their opinion and work through that. So yeah, no, the fair board here, I hear it all the time. People, I don't know how you work for 24 people. It's they're very supportive, and a lot of people don't know it also. But there's 24, but there's also we're in 3 committees too. We've got a race committee, a fair committee, and then a buildings and grounds improvement committee. So there's 8 on each one of those. So I mean, it's what you still do with the whole board, but we've got smaller committees to help on all those decisions and work through it. So it ends up working out really well. And then all those guys, they come and they come and take tickets every week. That's our ticket takers even at the Nationals. They're taking tickets. So it's very good and supporting working board.
So you come over from 3M, you look at the financials of weekly shows. I mean, you're trying to when you're at a company like that, you're making money every day. It doesn't.
Right. Yep.
Did you have to adjust your thinking a little bit and say, look, this is a tortoise race, not a rabbit race. We got to make money at the end of the year, even though, hey, we lost money this week.
Right, yeah, because if you looked at this through 3M glasses, the weekly show would be gone. Like you said, not only they're not wanting to break even, there's got to be a 30% profit, and so you have to change a little bit there. But like I said, being on the board, I kind of knew that all going through. I knew I've seen the financials for the last 15 years every month, so I was kind of prepared for that, and I mean, we've talked about that several times at the weekly show. We just got to keep it going, got to try to break even and go from there. So that, I was ready for that part of it.
Bad situation last year. Carson Macedo wrecks. She crashes at the crash at Knoxville. Everybody's seen it a million times. What was your takeaway from that? And does your heart kind of end up in your throat? Because not only is it, you don't want to see a driver injured. You need your medical people, your EMS, everybody needs to be on the same page and just get everything done so there's no long-term problem. When you saw that crash, what was that like for you as the GM? And have you guys evaluated that, get there quicker or cutting somebody out differently? Or do you guys kind of practice that stuff?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I would tell everybody since I had this job that I haven't had a bad day yet. But I honestly, when I stand in the suites watching that fire, I thought here's going to be your first bad day. I was telling myself. So as it came out, I'm 100% happy how it came out. We did great. But our fire and rescue crew, they are I'm going to say second to none. They do training. They listen to other people. They learn from it. But it also makes me too now. Not that we give them the equipment that they need, but also now it's just like it makes you feel like those investments you make are well worth it because now we've saved a guy's life. That it was well worth it in the end. So now going forward, we just continue that training with them. Continue to give them the equipment that they need. Actually, we've had to they're so good in my opinion. We've had to tell them, hey, you got to wait till those cars stop before you can get out on the track. They're there before the car's done flipping, and I'm like, there might be a guy that doesn't have any brakes or something,
Right.
It's just, so we try to rein them in that way, but though they're 100% dedicated. Very proud of those guys. They all do very well. But yeah, it's just continue working on that train. Actually, we were going to send them to Jay Mazer was having a training up
Yep.
in South Dakota there a couple weeks ago. That's the week we got 20 inches of snow, so they ended up not getting to go. We still was able to do it over Zoom, but we were going to send some of the team up there to see it firsthand and get the experience there. So now we're continuing to see what we can do and help them improve and try to make it safe for everybody.
Obviously, you haven't had a bad day yet, but
Nope.
that doesn't mean there's not headaches.
Oh yeah.
What is the biggest one for you as a GM? Because I know around here it's probably unruly or unhappy fans, but for you, what is the biggest headache you deal with as GM?
I would say probably, I mean, it's just like the camping issues that we have, just like you said, we don't have enough round. But the problem also here is that there's only 4 full-time employees at Knoxville. The rest are all
Really?
yeah, yep. Yeah, we've got John McCoy, who essentially he's full-time, but he's
Right.
retired from his real job. He's just the race, director. But he's here every day, but not all day long. And then I've got a David Hayes, ticket manager, Gary Schumacher, who does the finances, myself. The rest of that is all part-time people that's working another job. So, if I have a issue that I need to take up with one of them that we got to figure out, I got to do it tonight after they get off work, so
Okay.
it's all those moving pieces. Now, once again, we've got great employees. Most of them are really super dedicated. They'll come in when I need to and take care of things. Yeah, but it does make it a little more stressful and some headaches, at 3M, if I had an issue, I'd just go take care of it right there during the day. But now those people aren't here, all day long. So they're at their real job during the day. So working through that, but overall it's still, we work through it and make it work out all right for everyone.
Well, Jason, I want to thank you for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure. Make sure you get on Eric Arnold a little more. You got to get on.
I'll do that. I'll do.
No,
hey, I wanted to touch on one other thing if
Sure.
I got a few minutes. Which is just so John McCoy put a lot of work in this. With our weekly purse, you've already said that it's the best around and it's high, which it is. But also, just so everybody knows that like all of our points teams or all of our drivers that are in the points every year, all of our 410 drivers, they get 3 brand new right rear tires a year. That's a part of the deal we've done with Hoosier and do that. We pay 75 cents a mile up to 250 miles for teams to travel here.
You're kidding.
Through a case. No, this is through Casey's with a case. We've got some local sponsors and Casey's is on board with us too. So we pay them in Casey's cards so they can go get fuel and stuff that way. And so yeah, and then at the end of the year also we do about $300,000 worth of a driver's point money and then prizes. Like this year we gave away like 5 chassis and 6 or 7 rear ends and all kinds of stuff like that. So that's just all of the stuff that we've like the boards too, like continue sport and we've done deals with people to not only help Knoxville but help the drivers that race here. So I just wanted to mention all that stuff too that we have going also here. So
no, those are. And do you still pay 20,000 for your 410 point champion?
Yep.
God, that's a lot. That's a lot of swag and a lot of money.
Yeah, I got the top 20 and 410 points split $109,000 at the end of the year. And then, like I said, then we do give away about $120,000 worth of prizes. Now we just put all those prizes on a list and we just draw them out. But
right.
I mean, you can win everything from a chassis to we got a set of cylinder heads there's some good prizes on there. And then everybody at least gets a wing or something, like that. So everybody that's in the points comes away with a prize. So
well, now I got another question. So this is what happens.
Yep.
Point championships have, I'd say, gone by the wayside a lot at a track.
Yep.
You guys I mean, judging by the numbers, I mean, I don't think anybody can boast $109,000 and all the swag and everything else and benefits. How important do you think it is to keep that point stuff going? Because it is almost incentive to come to the track weekly. It helps the weekly program. It helps the nationals. See, here it's $5,000 to win most of the point titles. And then I think Grove is like 18, but it's divided owner, driver, whatever. But how important is that for you to maintain the viability of that point fund and to help the facility overall?
Yeah, we've had that discussion. We about have it every year. It seems like do we go away from the points and put that money into the weekly purse, and try to make it better. But I mean, once again, just trying to keep the weekly program strong. We always come back to the deal. Well, this gives everybody at the end of the year a little money, for work for next year on new cars. Plus, if we can give them some parts to get, going. So far we're still, continuing to think that it's worth it, to keep them coming here every week for them reasons. So we've continued that on. But yeah, we have that discussion a lot, whether we see a lot of places going away from it, and and even having a banquet like I'm going to go out and say we have the best banquet of anybody. We have it at a casino, have 650 people there, and it's really nice, top notch, and but that once again costs money. So we decide, debate on every year whether we continue to have that, but then we hear a lot of good responses. Man, I'm so glad you have this really nice, classy banquet. I'm able to bring some of my sponsors here. They see that, and it's really nice. So far we've just continued to, keep doing that. We all think that's a part to keep the weekly racing strong. So that's what we've continued to do.
Well, Jason, again, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to be on the show. You guys are doing a great job out there, and I look forward to coming out for the Nationals again.
All right, perfect. Thanks for having me. And once again, I'll tell you the same thing. I think you do great. I like seeing what you've got reporting on the next, or letting us know what's going on in the racing world. So I appreciate everything you do too.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That wraps up this week's SprintCarUnlimited.com deep dive presented by EnTrust IT Solutions. Thanks again to Jason Reed for being on the show. We appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also check out our daily exclusive content at www.sprintcarunlimited.com. We'll be back next Thursday with another edition of the Deep Dive. Stay tuned.